Hi, welcome back to designandtech.com technical blog automation video series. So beginner to advanced concepts. So we had stopped at identifying the locators in our previous video. So we are continuing from there now. So let's understand each locator, how to use it and how to identify how it works basically. So basically let's start with ID, name, CSS selector and link text, partial link text, tag name, XPath. In this video I am going to cover ID, name, CSS selector, XPath, link text, partial link text and tag name. We will cover it in a different video. So let's break it down to HTML element level. So in our login page test case example, so we need to identify username text field, password text field and login button to perform the required actions. So if you see one of the example, that is input type equal to text, ID equal to username, this typically indicates this is a text field where it accepts username. And if you see we have ID, what we saw in previous slide, type of locator, and name, type of a locator, and class name we have to be, that can be used type of a locator. And we do have data ID and other attributes as well. These can be used for CSS selectors. Any of these attributes can be used for CSS selector as well, and it can be used for XPath as well. So let's go to our application and see how it looks basically, how to identify and how do we get it. So how I got this particular tag is, so I'm on the browser now. I have launched the first step of our test case to launch the login page of the application, and then I have the login page here. So now I need to identify this and this. So let's go to developer tools. Simply by right clicking on the element, we need to inspect to understand what locators are available, what attributes are available. So click on inspect. So you see the HTML code is here, very much accessible to us. If you want to directly use ID, you can directly use ID, and if you want name, directly you can take name. In case if you don't have ID and name defined in your application, so what are the other methodologies available? You can go with class name if it is unique. So basically friends, always any of the locator you use for your application should be unique in your entire DOM structure. If you have two attributes with ID is equal to username, then your script will get into an ambiguity that with which field to use, which field not to use. So always it is preferred and must to use unique attribute for locating your uh, uh, element on the page. So basically here I can go with ID, name or class. If I am going to use, I can use any of this. I will show in the script example how we define the class CSS selector. And if it is XPath, it's like this. XPath is to identify a element in the DOM structure from beginning to end. It traverses through beginning to end. So if you use CSS selector or class, will be much quicker in identifying on the use page. So XPath typically looks like this: / the tag name and your attribute name. Let's take one of the attribute, data ID we can take for example, equal to its username. This is the typical syntax of your XPath. Sorry, yeah, now we have tried. Let's simply press enter. Do you see it's highlighting your highlighting the code part as well as the element on the page? So let's see, highlighted code is this and element is this. we could say we can use this as a XPath, or we can go with any of those. And now let's get into identifying the other element similarly. So if I want to use CSS here, what I will do is, you cannot highlight that from here, but you can simply write it in your script. Let's go back to our other parts of the slide. So where we have Selenium basics, the Selenium basic script structure is like this, where we have certain steps to be performed on the script development, where you set browser driver property as a system property. This means, as we saw in earlier video and slides, that we need to have a kind of interface between your browser and the script, that is called as driver file. So basically you need to set the path to your driver file in the system. It's a best practice to have driver file stored within your project structure, and then instantiate WebDriver object. So that means you are typically doing a object creation in Java object creation fashion for WebDriver object, and then launch the application using the WebDriver object, and then you have to perform the required actions. In our case, required actions are entering username, entering password, and clicking on login button, and then perform validation. So we were discussing during manual test case when we saw in the previous video, that is to ensure we have landed on the logged in page. Basically login was successful, and after validation the test case will pass if it is logged in, and then you have to generate a test execution report with the details of what test case was what script was executed and what it has done. In case of any failures, it should capture screenshots. So step 6 is a advanced concept. This will be covered in upcoming videos in the series. So that's why I always keep asking to subscribe, like, share this channel to get notified about more videos, upcoming advanced concept videos. So let's go to code now. So if you see, I have a Maven project created here with login test as Java class as a script. So if you would like to understand how to create this first Maven project, how to have the Selenium and other dependencies added to your script, you can watch my Selenium beginner guide video on the series. So there is a link in the description for that video. You can watch that and understand how to write the first script basically. So I'm going to now explain our login page test case. So as I said, in our steps, we see here it's set browser properties and instantiate WebDriver object, launch application. These are the steps. Let's look into it one by one. So I have a Java class. This if you watch my Selenium beginner guide, you'll understand what it is. And I have a WebDriver object created. This is only initialization, not instantiation. You can see I have not done object creation here, just declared as object as driver. And then this is the typical JUnit test case, where I do a setup and perform the test steps, and then close the sessions. So basically what we are doing here is I am setting the system property. If you see, our first step here is set system property, and then I'm initializing object. So basically instantiation of WebDriver object. If you see WebDriver is basically an interface. You cannot directly do new WebDriver. So we have to initialize a object of a browser type. So either Chrome driver, Firefox driver, or IE driver, something like that. So I'm using here Chrome driver as our test cases and Chrome browser. So this finishes your initial setup. If you want to understand JUnit, how it works in depth, kindly watch my JUnit beginner's guide video for all the details. And let's move on to test case steps. So I have login test, and this @test annotation indicates this is a test step. And before even test steps are executed, your before class will execute first. This is the first thing which gets executed when you run this code. So that's why we have initialization part in the before class, that is the setup method. And here I am just launching the application with the driver.get. This is the Selenium WebDriver API method .get which launches the application. And driver.manage.window.maximize. Here I am simply maximizing the window launched so that it is easier for performing the actions, and all the elements on the page are visible to our script. And if you see, this is the part we were talking about, locator identification. So basically, if you see driver.find element, this will try to find the element given with the locator. I'm saying by CSS selector. As we had seen here, we have different types of locators, right? CSS selector is one among them. I've told input data ID. I'm using data ID for locating my username field. So if you see on the screen also, it's the same thing. If you look at the username field, I'm using data ID is equal to username. This is a CSS attribute. And similarly, I'm using password, again data ID with password, and passing send keys will send the text to your text field, fill the text into text field. So my username is admin, password is admin, I am passing it. And this is not right practice in automation world. I have introduced thread.slip here just to make sure the flow is understood well. Otherwise script is very quick enough, it just in a couple of eye blinks it will just complete the launch, complete the actions and close. So if you will not get to see what actions are performed and what happened in the on the browser, definitely you will see a result in your console, but it's better to see the action on the page, as we are beginners to this is a beginner's guide, and we are beginning with the automation journey now. Okay, next step is to find login button and click on that. This is the action we are performing. This is the part where we are identifying the element on the page. Similarly here also, this part is action performed, this part is identification of the element on the page. And let's see, this time I'm using class name. Here I had used CSS selector. So if I go and inspect login button, I can see class is login button, login btn. So you see I have used that. This is how we locate the elements, and I am performing the action. So this is the part where we are validating. Assertion will check is it the condition we are validating is true or false. So I have given assert true. Again I am doing find element by class name, and I'm trying to get the text present on the page. So let's see what is the text admin logged in. So I'm trying to get this text. I'm inspecting this element. So here I'm trying to get this reference. If you see, class welcome box is the class name I'm using, and I'm doing get text. That means whatever text is present in this under this div layer is returned to me. In my case, welcome to our test application is returned, and I'm checking if it contains welcome message. If there is a welcome message, I understand that login was successful, that's why welcome message is present there. And if this is satisfied only, it will make the test case to pass. If not, it will simply fail. Let's try to execute this script. Even before we execute the script, we cover the test method. Now let's see after test what we are doing. We are doing driver.quit. That means we are closing the browser session. We are closing the browser and also killing the session initiated with the browser. So, and it nullifies the driver object as well. So in this way we are taking care of our CPU, memory, all resources aspects as well. Okay, let's try to run this. How I executed. So friends, if you are keen to know how to use IntelliJ as well, how to create this first project, you can watch the Selenium beginners guide. There I have shown how to use IntelliJ to create your first project, what all settings you need to have. So let's see how do we run this script. I have a JUnit runner. How did I create JUnit runner? I went to configuration, clicked on plus, selected JUnit, and I'll name it as a different runner, first runner. I will call it as first runner so that I can show it, as I already have login test. And JDK, by default it selects the JDK you used at the time of creation of project. And then if you have any arguments, runtime arguments, you can give. In this case we don't need anything, you just need to create select the test class. Whichever class has the test method, it highlights it here. So just select it, apply, okay, and it's part of our list now. I will use login test for execution. You can see all the actions will start now. It is, yeah, it launched the browser and your application is launched. Login, you can see test cases passed, one test passed. We have only one test, so one test passed. Reporting part will be covered in the advanced concept videos. For now, this is your first script. We have converted one of our manual test case with 4 to 5 steps to a automation script. Thank you for watching this video. Like, share and subscribe for more videos in the series. I will be publishing soon the further concepts of continuation of this series. Thank you for watching.